All right. Good afternoon. The Board of Adjustment is now in session. My name is Anthony Robinson, and I will be chairing today's meeting. Attending today's virtual meeting are board members Irene Saul, George Hitt, Mel DeSimone, and Joe Clipson. Also in attendance for the city is Mary Hart Burton, zoning administrator for the city, Evan Winkler, community development planner for the city, who will represent the city in the cases we are hearing today, and Andrea Gutierrez, lead zoning specialist. Our attorney for the board is Archer Mellon, and the court reporter today is Julie Kearns. Today we will be hearing 4 cases. First, we will hear from the city's representative, who will explain why the permit could not be issued. Next, we will hear from the applicant and/or their representative. Then we will hear from those in favor of the appeal, and then from those opposed. Please be concise, as testimony will be limited to 3 minutes per person. When you come online via video or telephone, please wait to be sworn in by the court reporter. Then please state your name and mailing address. To ensure proper records for our court reporter, we ask that those online or on the telephone please to remain on mute. Following testimony on all of today's cases, the board will go into its deliberative portion of the hearing, at which time we will vote on all cases heard. The board will notify each applicant and/or their representative of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. You're welcome to remain during our deliberations. However, we will not hear additional testimony at that time. You may also call the lead zoning specialist, Drea, tomorrow at 314-622-3666 to learn the outcome of your appeal. Again, the number is 314-622-3666. Drea, would you please read appeal number 11926?
Appeal number 11926, 6303 Sherry Avenue.
Julie, can I be sworn in?
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the building commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to construct a car dealership per plan zoning only at 6303 Sherry Avenue. Unfortunately, it was posted with the incorrect address, therefore not giving the legal time that's necessary for a posting. And in addition, the applicant needed to revise their plans to show dimensions on their site plan. So we ask that you would consider continuing to the next available Board of Adjustment hearing.
And because
I'm sorry, Archer.
I just needed to add, if you do decide to do that, you still need to announce and give people the opportunity to speak today, because some notice was provided, so someone from the community might have showed up based on the City Journal or something.
Even if it was the wrong address?
Yeah, I mean, they can continue it if they want to, that's fine, but they just need to give, if someone happens to have shown up today, they need a chance to talk.
Okay.
Archer?
Yes, Mary?
Hey, normally whenever we have to repost because of a posting requirement that we didn't meet, and effectively we didn't meet it because we didn't have the correct address on there, we normally don't take any testimony. So are you wanting us to do it differently?
Was the address incorrect on the sign and in the City Journal, or just on the sign?
Yes.
Both?
Both, yeah.
Okay, I misheard Evan, then I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay, board members, can I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to continue.
You're muted, Joe.
No.
I'll second.
All right, moved by Mel, seconded by Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
aye.
All of those opposed? Motion carries to be continued. Okay. Priya, can you read appeal number 11923?
Appeal number 11923, 3454 South Grand Boulevard.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to update and expand a wireless facility, cell tower equipment per plans at 3454 South Grand Boulevard. I'd like to present as evidence for this case, photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of T-Mobile, care of Haley Peck, Crown Castle, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to update and expand a wireless facility, cell tower equipment, per plans at 3454 South Grand Boulevard in City Block number 1591.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone F, Neighborhood Commercial District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to prevent additions to and alterations or remodeling of existing buildings or structures in such a way as to avoid the limitations lawfully imposed. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.08.437, a wireless facility, equipment at a fixed location that enables wireless communications between user equipment and communications network, including equipment associated with the wireless communications and radio transceivers, antennas, coaxial or fiber optic cable, regular and backup power supplies, and comparable equipment, regardless of technological configuration. The term includes small wireless facilities. The term does not include the structure or improvements on, under, or within which the equipment is co-located, coaxial or fiber optic cable between wireless support structures or utility poles, coaxial or fiber optic cables not directly associated with a particular small wireless facility, or a wireline backhaul facility as defined by Missouri statutes. Also, section 26.16.020, structures prohibited. No structure shall be erected, placed, enlarged, or structurally altered unless such action shall make the premises upon which it shall stand conform to the regulations for the district in which the premises are located, unless authorized by the provisions of the zoning code. Also, section 26.40.025Q, conditional uses. The following conditional uses may be allowed in the F Neighborhood Commercial District, subject to the provisions of chapter 26.80. Any wireless facility not otherwise permitted under section 26.24.020 unless prohibited by federal law, federal regulation, or federal agency. And then finally, section 26.40.080B, side yard. All non-residential structures, mixed commercial and residential structures, and related accessory structures that do not adjoin a dwelling district require no side yard, but a maintenance easement must be granted the owner of the property abutting each side of a lot having a side yard of less than 4 feet prior to the zoning approval. If such structures do adjoin a dwelling district, and there shall be a side yard adjoining having a width of not less than 4 feet, unless a maintenance easement is granted by the owner of the property abutting the lot prior to zoning approval. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. So in summary, the applicant is applying for a building permit to update and expand an existing wireless facility, and it's located in the F Neighborhood Commercial District. This particular wireless facility that exists received an area variance for height and conditional approval per appeal number 10218 in 2013. The current building permit has plans that include the removal of an existing fence section, the relocation of existing gate, and then the installation of a diesel generator. This would be considered an expansion of the use, and therefore conditional use approval is required. And then in addition, the F district requires non-residential structures to provide a maintenance agreement or provide the 4-foot side yard setback. The proposed generator pad will be 2 feet and 5 inches away from the property line, and there is no maintenance agreement provided. Therefore, an area variance is required for the side yard setback. Just a minute. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that the 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this area the neighborhood commercial area, and the granting of variance is in keeping with the neighborhood commercial area's intent to promote the development of new and rehabilitation of existing commercial uses that primarily serve adjacent neighborhoods. The 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this area a high-intensity node. The granting of variance would be in keeping with this designation's intent of supporting many types of retail with high transparency and active ground floors. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11923 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions for me from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant. Ms. Peck.
Hello. Actually, I'll be, if you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, great. Do I need to be sworn in before?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
State your name and mailing address for the record.
Yes, my name is Shanitra Lockett. I am an attorney for Crown Castle, licensed in North Carolina, not licensed in your area, so I won't be representing as an attorney here, but I am an attorney for the company. And my mailing address, 7010 Copeland Court, Matthews, North Carolina.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
Okay. So yes, just as Evan stated, this is a wireless telecommunications facility where we are asking to add a diesel generator in order to accommodate one of our carriers, T-Mobile. This would be a backup generator source where they would be able to allow and give communication services in the event of a power outage or some other catastrophe or incident where power was not given to the facility. So that's why we have the diesel generator put in place. If you look on the plans on page C1-2, it shows the placement of the generator. And mainly what we're appealing here is that this is considered an eligible facility request under federal law. So what that means is an eligible facility request must be approved by local government unless it is a substantial change. And the government has put forth parameters that define what a substantial change is, which includes height increase over 10% or 20 feet, protrusions from the side of the tower, expansion of the site more than 30 feet, and so on. There are 6 different parameters in particular. This site and adding the generator does not constitute a substantial change, and therefore it must be approved by local government. As mentioned previously, the site was rebuilt in 2013, and during that time, the jurisdiction did not require a maintenance easement. So we would further argue that not only is this an eligible facility request, a non-conforming use also, but that this requirement for maintenance easement was also waived in 2013, because as you can see in the plans, there's actually already a pad that is within that 4-foot setback that is already up against the fence, pretty close. It's actually closer than the diesel generator is proposed to be. And there's been no maintenance easement required for that, and it was not required in the 2013 approval or any of the approvals for modification that we've had since then. So at this point, we would argue that it's in essence been waived, and additionally that this is a non-conforming use. And so it can't, and it doesn't necessarily have to be brought into compliance. So the FCC has specifically spoke to non-conforming uses in terms of towers, and they have specifically said that they reject municipal arguments that any modification of an existing wireless tower or base station that has legal non-conforming status should be considered a substantial change to its physical dimensions. So they don't consider it a substantial change, and they reject the argument that it needs to be brought up to code as the code changes if it's considered a non-conforming use. So yes, and that is in the FCC report order from 2014. So I'm available to answer any questions that the board may have about that status or anything else.
Any board members have any questions? Okay, thanks, Ms. Lockett. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I forgot a detail.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was the maintenance easement is also being requested against a property line. I can't share my screen, but it's actually 3 feet raised. There's a 3-foot like cement wall between 3 foot. This property has a 3-foot cement wall, and then it's the location of the generator would be there. So there's not going to be any crossover or need for maintenance easement from that property owner on the other side, because there's no way to actually access the property from there. There's the 3-foot wall plus a fence. So I forgot to mention that, but I just wanted to make sure the board was aware.
Sure. Thank you. Anyone here to testify in opposition of this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, and a memo, and a memo from Planning and Urban Design. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11924?
Appeal number 11924, 4200 Shoto Avenue.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to construct a single-family dwelling per plans at 4200 Shoto Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case, photos on aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Erman Gerbic concerning the Building Commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to construct a single-family building per plans at 4200 Shoto Avenue in city block number 5114.01 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is the Forest Park Southeast Form-Based District, Boulevard Type 1, and underlying Zone B, 2-family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to fix reasonable standards to which buildings and structures shall conform. The applicable zoning code provisions are ordinance number 70732, and evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying to build a single-family home with a carport, and it's located in the Forest Park Southeast Form-Based District, Boulevard Type 1. There's a variety of violations, though, with the plans. The first one is the building form, which is required to be 85% of the width of the property. Therefore, an area variance is required for a building that only spans 17 feet wide, which is about 68% of the 25-foot wide lot. There is a second and third area variance required for the side yard setbacks. It's required to be 5 feet minimum, and they're proposing a 4-foot side yard setback. A fourth area variance is required for the floor to ceiling height. It's required to be 12 feet. However, they're proposing a 10-foot floor to ceiling height on the first floor. A use variance is required for the primary material. Stucco is not a listed primary material, and they plan to use stucco. A fifth area variance is required for the stoop depth, which is required to be 5 feet. They're proposing a 3 feet 6 inch front stoop. Then a 6th and 7th area variance are required for the plane break on a secondary building facade, which is required to have 1 vertical plane break at a distance greater than 25%. In this case, the east and west facades do not have a vertical plane break at the distance of 25% or greater. A second use variance is required for the primary facade material. It says that the primary materials shall be 75% of the primary building facade, and they're using materials that are not listed as primary material. Then an 8th and 9th area variance are required for the window openings. The horizontal dimension of any wall opening on a primary building facade shall not exceed the vertical dimension. In this case, the vertical dimension exceeds the horizontal dimension. Then a 10th area variance is required for the parapet wall, which will have a height of at least 30 inches. The parapet wall is less than 1 foot. And then an 11th area variance is required for the parapet wall, which shall have a distinct shape. And in this case, it's a flat parapet that lacks any kind of shape. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that this is in the Forest Park Southeast Form-Based District, Boulevard Type 1 area. The 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this area a neighborhood preservation area. The granting of variance is in keeping with the neighborhood preservation area's intent to promote the development of new infill residential that is physically integrated with the surrounding area. And then the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan says that this is a high-intensity neighborhood, and a granting of a variance would be in keeping with the designation's intent to support many types of housing, including some single-family homes. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11924 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Okay, well, let's hear from the appellant.
He's on mute, but he is here. 314-413. Can you hit *6?
I believe. Hello.
Yes.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes. Okay, so Mr. Evans, this Mr. Gerbic?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, let's get you sworn in.
Sir, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, can we get your name and mailing address for the record?
Ermin Gerbic, E-R-M-I-N, Gerbic, G-R-B-I-C. Home mailing address is 9607 Mill Hill Lane, St. Louis, Missouri, 63127.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
I was planning to construct the two. Well, I have this one. I believe there's another one on the docket that's going to be coming up as well. It's a new construction home that is going along, I guess, with the area, and many similar homes are being built in the area as well. And this is, well, my first new construction project. I've done very many rehabs. I've done very many rehabs in the area actually as well. But this will be my first time doing the new construction. Like I said, I believe it goes along with all the other homes that are being currently built in the neighborhood. All of the requirements that are necessary.
Okay. Board members, do you have any questions?
The only question I would have would be, what is the hardship to change all the materials that were not specified in the zoning code for the area?
Actually, the architect that I spoke with that has drawn up very many homes in that area they've been, I guess, used some of these types of materials and whatnot, and I was okay with these materials, I guess. Yeah, I wasn't very particular on choosing these very specific ones, I guess. That helps at all.
Well, my concern is the whole face of the building is stucco, which is not an approved material, correct, Evan?
Yeah, that's what the write-up says.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't quote me on this, but I was told that material would be okay. And I mean, if it's just due to the front of the building, I mean, if we need to change or upgrade or update to something different, I have no problem doing that. I was told that it was acceptable, I guess. Might have been told wrong.
And also the height of the parapet. Do you have any equipment sitting on the roof?
No.
No condenser or anything up there?
No equipment on the roof, no.
Those are basically my questions.
Any other board members have any questions? So I have a question, Evan. Based on the form-based code, what materials are allowed?
Give me a second to pull that section up. Brick and tile masonry, concrete panels, hardy plank siding, precast concrete masonry, and stone block.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mr. Gerber. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay. Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Yes, Mr. Began. Get you sworn in.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, can
Hi.
you state your name and mailing address for me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stephen Begany, 4448 Oakland Avenue in Forest Park Southeast. Just concerned that we haven't been given a reason why they're not meeting the form-based code. He said that he was told it would be fine, which doesn't sound right. I don't know who would have said that. As a resident of the neighborhood, I would want a better reason, and I don't see a reason for granting any of these variances. There doesn't seem to be a hardship. Would seem to be the right thing to say, go back and adjust your plans to meet the form-based code. So that's my only thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board members have any questions? Okay. Is there anyone else here to testify in opposition to this appeal?
Mr. Chairman, did you have Stephen sworn in?
We did swear Stephen in, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. Right, Julie? I thought I will watch that happen, but
Just let me look to double check because now I'm swearing so many people in. I don't want to just guess here.
Sure.
Let me get you sworn in.
I remember.
Yes, I believe he was sworn in.
Okay, sorry, just double checking.
Sure. Okay, hearing no additional opposition, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from Planning and Urban Design, Cultural Resources Office review signed by Bob Bettis, letter of support from Abdul Kaba Abdullah, Executive Director, Park Central Development. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11925?
Appeal number 11925, 4403 Hunt Avenue.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Again, good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to construct a single-family dwelling per plans at 4403 Hunt Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case, photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Erman Gerbic concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to construct a single-family building per plans at 4403 Hunt Avenue in city block number 3981.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is the Forest Park Southeast Form-Based District, Boulevard Type 2, and the underlying Zone J Industrial District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to fix reasonable standards to which buildings and structures shall conform, and the applicable zoning code provisions are ordinance number 70732. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. Summary, the applicant is applying to construct a single-family home with carport. It's located in the Forest Park Southeast Form-Based District with underlying Zone J. There are a number of violations. They include the building form, which must be 85% of the width of the property. This project will be just 68% or a 17-foot wide of a 25-foot lot which requires an area variance. The side yard setback is required to be 5 foot minimum. Both side yards are set to be 4 feet. Therefore, a second and third area variance are required. The first floor to ceiling height is required to be a minimum of 12 feet. And the first floor ceiling height is proposed to be just 10 feet. Therefore, a fourth area variance is required. Stucco is proposed as a primary material. However, it is not listed as a primary material allowed. Therefore, a use variance is required. A fifth area variance required for the front stoop. Stoops must be a minimum of 5 feet in depth, and this one is proposed to be 3 feet 6 inches. Second use variance is required for the building type. Single-family homes are actually not a permitted housing type in this district. Then an additional area variance is required for plane breaks. There must be a plane break on secondary building facades, a vertical plane break that's at least 25% of the distance. A sixth and seventh area variance are required because there is no vertical plane break at a distance of 25%. The primary material must be 75% of the primary building facade. And in this case, it is not. Therefore, a third use variance is required. The horizontal dimension of wall openings on a primary building facade must exceed the vertical dimension. And in this case, that's not what's being proposed. Therefore, an eighth and ninth area variance are required. Parapet wall shall have a maximum height of 30 inches. This one is proposed to be 1 foot, less than 1 foot. And therefore, a 10th area variance is required. And then parapet wall shall have a distinct shape. And again, this is a parapet wall that is flat and lacks any distinct shape. Therefore, an 11th area variance is required. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that, again, this is in the Forest Park Southeast Form-Based Neighborhood District. The 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this a neighborhood preservation area, and granting of a variance is in keeping with the intent to promote preservation and development of new infill that's physically integrated with the surrounding neighborhood. And then the 2025 Land Use Plan calls this a high-intensity neighborhood. The granting of variance is in keeping with the designation's intent to support many types of housing, including some single-family homes. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11925 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
So, yeah, Evan, can you go back to, let's see, you mentioned this is 68%. Was that of the width of the lot?
Correct. Yes.
And it should be 85%?
Yes.
Okay. And so we're 4-foot setbacks on each side. And if we went to a 3-foot setback, do you know what that would give us?
Say that again. So if you want to go to a 3-foot setback on each side.
Yes.
So are you wanting me to subtract that from the total distance of the width?
Yes. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if at 3 feet we the
I got
appellant makes the 85%.
So 19 divided by 25 is 76%. So at 3 foot, they still wouldn't meet the 85%.
Gotcha. And the only way to then meet 85% is that we end up in an area where you need firewalls.
Right.
Okay. All right.
There's actually no way that a 25-foot lot can allow a building of 85% be there with any side yards, because you end up with 3.75 feet if you go 85%.
Yeah.
Kind of doesn't make sense, is it?
Yeah, I agree, Joe. Okay. Let's hear from the appellant, Mr. Gerbic. We'll need to get you
Go ahead.
sworn again.
Sworn in again? Okay.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I'm sorry, did you answer? Oh. We're not hearing your audio, Mr. Gerbic.
I'll text
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
we
Yep.
hear you now.
You do hear me now?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Okay, let's,
You want to do the
let's get you
swearing
sworn in.
again?
Yes.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, state your name again and mailing address for the record.
It's Ermin Gerbic, 9607 Mill Hill Lane, St. Louis, Missouri, 63127.
All right, go ahead with your testimony.
So this is going to be two identical homes, as we just heard from the previous. The 4200 Shoto is also mine, and my plan is actually to build two identical homes. They're in the area where they're within a few blocks of each other, using hopefully the same materials and doing the same idea on everything. And actually, a business partner of mine, we're doing two separate homes, but he also purchased the lot at the 4400 Hunt, I think. Don't quote me on that address, but he would be planning on hopefully building basically one more identical house next to each other, just to help continue the same home or same idea, if you will, in that area. And once again, it's identical to the previous home and materials and everything that we just spoke about.
Okay. I will start with the questions before I ask the board. So, have you considered on this particular home going up to 3 feet off of the property line? Why or why not?
Well, it's my understanding is it not, I guess, would it be too close to the home next door that will be
No, not
there or being built?
Not 2 feet. So we're adding 2 additional feet. You've got your 4 foot on each side off of the property line. So by adding a foot to each side, you're effectively 3 feet off of the property line on both sides.
Does that? Well, I guess does that require then doing those special firewalls and so on and so forth, things like that?
It does not. You can go up to 3 feet before you need a firewall.
3 feet off of the property line, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'm not necessarily opposed to that. No.
Okay.
I believe when the architect was drawing it, he was just trying to stay well within the limits, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. And then also, are these houses going to be exactly the same on the exterior?
Maybe not color-wise and whatnot, if you will. I guess same materials used, maybe different, possibly colors or schemes or themes, if you will. I mean, they can be, if that makes any form of a difference.
No, just I'm curious. And then finally, on the parapets, why are 1 foot parapet?
To be honest, I don't have an answer for that question. That was the way the architect drew it. I never asked questions about it. I never thought to ask questions about it. So to be honest, I do not have an answer for you on that.
Okay. And so we've got a flat roof. Okay. Any other board members have any questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Gerbic. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Yes, Mr. Begley. Let's get you sworn in again.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
So Stephen Begany, 4448 Oakland Avenue. Just reiterating the same concern that it doesn't sound like we've been given any reason why. Sorry for my camera, by the way, if the lighting's off. Any reason why the form-based code can't be followed here? I think you all know it was just put into place in the last 10 years, and it'd be nice to know why the ceiling height can't be in keeping with the code, why the materials can't be in keeping. And it sounds like it just hasn't been thought through based on what he said. It sounds like they just didn't ask the question. So it would be weird to grant a variance for a non-hardship, from what I understand. So thank you.
Okay, any board members have any questions? All right, is there anyone else here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Okay, hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, city journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from planning and urban design, cultural resources office review signed by Bob Bettis, a letter of support from Abdul Kaba Abdullah, Executive Director of Park Central Development. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 20470?
20470, 6103 West Florissant Avenue.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence on grounds for revocation of a variance with conditions and occupancy permit issued to operate a used auto sales business and repair shop with bodywork and painting, no detailing, at 6103 West Florissant Avenue, continued from 7/24/2024. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. First, I'll be reading the proceedings from the Board of Adjustment Variance Appeal number 20470, and then I'll be reading the revocation letter dated October 6th. And then finally, I'll be relaying the investigation findings from this morning. On August 9th, 2023 and June 7th, 2023, the Board of Adjustment of the City of St. Louis met to hear appeal number 20470 pursuant to sections 26.84.040 of the zoning code concerning the building commissioner's determination that it would violate the zoning code to operate a used auto sales business and repair shop with bodywork and painting, no detailing at 6103 West Florissant Avenue. It is the decision of the Board of Adjustment that an undue hardship exists with respect to the subject application, making it difficult to comply with the strict letter of the zoning code. The board therefore grants a use variance to operate a used auto sales business and repair shop with bodywork and painting, no detailing at 6103 West Florissant Avenue. The board also concludes that the granting of the variance is in accordance with the spirit of the code, that it secures the public safety and welfare of the community, and that it will result in substantial justice for all. The board also orders the following conditions shall be attached to the variance. Number 1 is that the entire parking vehicle display area on the exterior of the premises shall be paved and striped. Parking areas shall be striped so as to substantially conform to the width and depth layout standards for parking spaces and provided for in section 26.16.080D of the zoning code. Condition number 2, the parking lot layout shall be submitted to and approved by the zoning administrator before the building occupancy permit is issued. Condition number 3, vehicles parked on the lot shall be in approved parking spaces. All spaces shall be equipped with approved bollards or wheel stops so as to prohibit vehicles encroaching on public right-of-way or private property. Number 4, the parking lot layout spaces shall be labeled vehicles for sale, customer parking, employee parking, or any other uses. If multiple businesses are on this property, spaces shall be labeled for each business separately. Condition number 5, vehicles owned by the petitioner are prohibited from being parked or sold on public streets, alleys, or sidewalks adjacent to this location. Condition number 6, vehicle access egress from lot shall only be permitted utilizing established curb cuts and driveways on premises. No access egress of vehicles shall be permitted across sidewalks or curbs. Condition number 7, the stringing of lights, flags, or streamers on the premises is prohibited. Condition number 8, any parking area lighting to be installed shall be installed on metal or masonry poles or underground wiring and shall not exceed 22 feet in height and adjusted so that no more than 0.5 foot candles measured at grade falls on any abutting residential uses. These improvements shall not be installed until approvals and permits are received from all appropriate city agencies. Condition number 9, there shall be no exterior signage installed on the premises until separate approvals and permits are received from all appropriate city agencies. This shall include mobile commander boards and balloons on tethers. Condition number 10, exterior amplified intercom systems, phone ringing systems, or music systems are prohibited. Condition number 11, the existing building on the premises shall be completely repaired and restored pursuant to all applicable zoning and building codes. These improvements shall not be installed until approvals and permits are received from all appropriate city agencies. Number 12, there should be no open storage of auto mechanical or body parts, batteries, tires, motor oil, or other automotive fluids, or refuse of any nature on subject premises or on public streets, alleys, or sidewalks adjacent to this location. Number 13, there shall be no salvage of parts from vehicles on subject premises. Number 14, the hours of operation shall be limited to 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Saturday per the testimony of the petition. Number 15, there shall be no cord or rope type LED lighting surrounding or framing windows and doors. Number 16, the petitioner shall provide a commercial dumpster and establish a trash removal contract through a private source for regular pickups and maintain the entire premises in a clean and orderly appearance at all times. Number 17, the petitioner shall provide a refuse container on the exterior of the premises for use by customers and shall be emptied on a daily basis or more if needed. If another container is needed due to the level of business, it shall also be provided. Number 18, there shall be no vending, ATM machines, or payphones on the exterior of the premises at any given time. Number 19, the petitioner must erect and maintain a 6 feet site-proof fence or a 6-foot chain link fence with visual concealment or dense natural screening along the boundaries of the property. Number 20, the petitioner shall properly dispose of all hazardous materials. Number 21, the premises shall not be issued a public nuisance notice pursuant to ordinance number 68535 or its successor ordinances. The above motion was made by Chairman Klitzing and seconded by the board member Hitt and was passed by unanimous vote of the board. All right, then on October 6th, 2023, a revocation letter was sent to Dunright Auto Sales LLC, care of Natalie Harrison. Dear Natalie Harrison, for your review, I have attached a copy of the decision of the Board of Adjustment, Appeal Number 20470. As a result of that decision, you were granted a variance with conditions, an occupancy permit that permitted you to operate a used auto sales business and repair shop with bodywork and painting, no detailing at 6103 West Florissant Avenue. After an inspection of the premises on October 5th, 2023, it has been determined that you are in violation of the subject variance. Specifically, on the date of the inspection, it was shown that you were in violation of the following conditions. Condition number 1, the entire parking vehicle display area on the exterior of the premises shall be paved and striped. Parking areas shall be striped so as to substantially conform to the width and depth layout standards for parking spaces provided in section 26.16.080D of the zoning code. In violation of condition number 3, vehicles parked on the lot shall be in approved parking spaces. All spaces shall be equipped with approved bollards or wheel stops so as to prohibit vehicles encroaching on public right-of-way or private property. Condition number 4, parking lot layout spaces shall be labeled vehicles for sale, customer parking, employee parking, or any other uses. And multiple businesses are on this property, spaces shall be labeled for each business separately. Condition number 9, there shall be no exterior signage installed on premises until separate approvals and permits are received from all appropriate city agencies. This shall include mobile commander boards and balloons on tethers. Condition number 11, the existing buildings on the premises, if any, shall be completely repaired and restored pursuant to all applicable zoning and building codes. These improvements shall not be installed until approvals and permits are received from all appropriate city agencies. Condition number 12, there shall be no open storage of auto mechanical or body parts, batteries, tires, motor oil, or other automotive fluids, or refuse of any nature on subject premises or on public streets, alleys, or subject sidewalks adjacent to this location. Condition number 17, the petitioner shall provide a refuse container on the exterior of the premises for use by the customers and shall be emptied on a daily basis or more if needed. If another container is needed due to the level of business, it shall also be provided. Condition number 19, petitioner must erect and maintain a 6-foot site-proof fence and a 6-foot chain link fence with visual concealment or a dense natural screen along the boundaries of the property. As provided for in section 26.100.030 of the 1994 revised code of the City of St. Louis, there will be a public hearing before the Board of Adjustment on Wednesday, November 1st, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. via online viewing or telephone to consider the revocation of the subject variances and occupancy permit. Instructions for meeting access are attached. Please be present or have someone present representing you at this hearing. If you are unable to attend or are unable to have someone represent you, please contact me immediately to reschedule the hearing. If you have questions relating to this matter, I can be reached at 314-622-3666. Respectfully, Mary Hart Burton, the zoning administrator. All right, and then a little bit of background. The case was first heard on November 1st, 2023, at which time they were found to be in violation of number 12, number 17, and number 19. At that time, Chairman Klitzing made a motion to table appeal for up to 90 days to allow the petitioner to come into compliance with all the conditions. Board Member Robinson seconded the motion. The hearing was rescheduled for a later date, which was March 20th. At that time, they were in violation of condition number 9 and condition number 16. On March 20th, Chairman Klitzing made a motion to table appeal for 60 days to allow the petitioner to receive their sign permit. Board Member Parsley seconded the motion, and it passed by unanimous vote of the board and was rescheduled for July 24th, at which time they were in violation of number 3, number 5, number 12, number 13, and number 14. On July 24th, due to the changes in staffing and management, Chairman Robinson made a motion to table the appeal for up to 90 days to allow them to come into compliance. Board Member Desimone seconded the motion. The motion was passed by unanimous vote and rescheduled. Then we did investigation on March 3rd before rescheduling it again, just to see if they had come into compliance. At that time, they were in violation of number 3, number 5, number 12, and number 20. And then again, I went out there this morning at around 8 a.m. and they were still in violation of 3, number 5, number 12, and number 20. Number 3 is that the vehicles parked on the lot shall be in approved parking spaces. And as you can see from the photos, vehicles were parked outside of striped areas across the lot. They were in violation of number 5, which is that their vehicles are prohibited from being parked or sold on public streets, alleys, and sidewalks. From the photos, you can see there's cars parked in the public right-of-way on the sidewalk, as well as a tow truck. They're in violation of condition number 12, that there shall be no open storage of a variety of items, but particularly was the automotive fluids. There were several bottles of automotive fluids on site. And then, which is also a violation of number 20, is that the petitioner shall dispose of hazardous materials. And the open storage of the automotive fluid, they were just sitting out with no caps, no lids. So, yeah, are there any questions from the board about today's investigation?
Evan,
Yes.
I just have one clarification. In my notes, it says that when the board continued this the last time, I guess that would have been on July 24th, it was continued for 90 days to come into compliance or to amend their conditions.
Correct. Thank you for that.
And then
Yeah.
they chose not to amend the conditions.
Yes, great clarity.
Okay, thank you.
Board members, any questions? All right, let's hear from the appellant.
Deandra, can you unmute yourself and be sworn in?
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Hear us? Okay, we have John.
I'm the representative for the Jonathan Curtis.
Okay, so is this Mr. Curtis?
Yes.
Okay, let's get you sworn in, Mr. Curtis.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, state your name and mailing address for the record.
Jonathan Wesley Curtis, 6103 West Florissant, St. Louis, Missouri, 63136.
All right, go ahead with your testimony.
Basically, I was under the impression we was in compliance last time. Last time we had the meeting. The investigation from this morning, them containers on the side, they're empty. There's nothing in those containers. We really having a problem with the space. I mean, I got everything as far as the lines and stuff on them, as far as the parking, but when we get these cars in from the insurance company, sometimes they just drop them, and then we never know where they drop them, and they drop them on the lot. You know, all you can really tell them is drop them on the lot. They really don't drop them in the assigned spaces. So that's the problem I'm having. Usually I can't really do nothing until I get back the next morning. If it's like a late night drop off or something, or as a vehicle that's getting fixed.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go back. Evan, can you read the item? So before we do that, when you saw the jugs in question, did you pick any of those up to determine if they were full or empty, or do you know if they were full or empty?
You're talking to me, Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Yes, they were full. I mean, not full, but there was liquids in them. And one of the photos, I tried to attempt to show that.
Okay. And then, yeah, I'll leave it there for right now. Mary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a couple of questions for Mr. Curtis. Mr. Curtis, we're looking at some photographs that Mr. Winkler took this morning, and I'm wondering, so can you explain to me again about this whole business of insurance companies just dropping off vehicles at your business? How does that work?
So basically, if we get a call in for a vehicle, someone is trying to bring a vehicle to my shop to get repaired from an accident or something, maybe it might be a little disabled. It's just getting dropped. They can either drop it wherever is space available. So I try to keep them from dropping them on the street. I just try to put them on my lot, and then if I can get here early enough to move it, however I move it, to get it moved inside the shop or inside my gate. I can't really make them do nothing extra because I never know what driver they're going to send for.
So could you designate an area on your lot just for the drops?
Well, it's a little tight, so I don't know how big the tow truck is for us getting it. You know what I'm saying? All I can do is tell them, because I never know what driver I'm going to get or who's gonna drop it. I don't know a time or nothing, so I can't really call them and like, oh yeah, drop it right here, because I never know. They might drop it that morning. They might drop it. They might bring it midnight, 12 o'clock midnight. So I really never know.
Okay. So let's move on to another picture where there is like a flatbed truck parked on the sidewalk. Tell me about that. Why does that have to be on blocking the sidewalk?
Well, that's my fault. That's my truck. I just kind of usually keep it out the street because there'd be so much going on in West Florissant. So I try not to park it on the side because we got people that stay in the houses across the street. I can move it.
It looks like a white SUV that is parked on the sidewalk also.
I moved that. That's moved.
Since this morning at 8:05?
Yeah, since this morning. It's actually on the back of my truck now.
Okay.
So basically I moved my truck. So basically this was the thing I had going on. I had a body guy here that was working here, and he's now gone now. So he had a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff I'm just not really getting rid of as far as him leaving. Them containers, I seen them, but I know that it was.
So rather on the subject of those containers, whether those containers are empty or full, they should be moved.
That's fine.
And then could you explain to the board, to the rest of the board members, after the last meeting when the board gave you the opportunity to amend your conditions, can you explain to us why you did not want to amend those conditions?
It was no reason. I amended them. I thought everything was fine because I had spoken with the alderman and she said everything was fine on my end after the last meeting. So I didn't know. I really honestly didn't know.
Unless you get something official from our office in writing, an okay from an alderman is not
right. I really didn't know, but I just thought that was like part of the problem at first that I was having. You know what I'm saying? Because it really was a problem at first due to her or whatever. So I thought it was completed. I thought I didn't have nothing else to worry about for 6103.
So effectively, we've been working with this revocation since November of 2023, and you haven't really gotten any closer to compliance.
I really have. It was way much more. It was so much more. It was a lot. It was so much more. As far as the fence, I had a problem with the fence, with putting the tent on the fence wasn't dark enough for them to see inside. I got my dumpster, the sign. So I've been doing what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, because I had.
So what about this first condition where you would park your vehicles in approved parking spaces?
Well, if you're familiar with my lot, how the lot is made, it's kind of hard. I still got it all lined off. It's lined and striped off, but it's very hard to have to. And then you're dealing with like a lot of theft and stuff in here, stuff in where I'm at.
I quite frankly think you have too many cars on this lot.
Well,
And
I
if
try.
the lot was appropriately striped, like it's supposed to be, you wouldn't be able to squeeze that many cars on there.
Well, you have to because I dealt with someone coming on my lot and stealing a car. So now I have to block cars in a certain type of way when I leave at nights, just so somebody can't crash through my gate and steal a car. So that was the whole situation that I was having a problem with.
Did you ever consider hiring some security for your lot?
No, we have cameras. I have cameras now, but it was somebody that came.
That wasn't the question. Did you ever consider hiring some security for your lot? Obviously, the cameras aren't helping if you're having to stack the cars on there in such a way that someone can't steal them.
Hire security as in what? Stay overnight?
All night, a few hours, whatever it takes. The question was, did you
Ma'am,
consider that?
I can't consider that. I've never heard of a dealership having a security overnight.
There's a lot of businesses in the city that have security. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Board members, questions? Mel. You're muted, Mel.
Okay. With this dumpster, you said, "Oh, you just got your dumpster," but I remember being here for testimony where there was two dumpsters from two different companies there, and they said, "Oh, we just haven't removed the other dumpster yet." Then came up and you said, "Well, you got all these cars to block cars in, which gives you too many cars on a lot. What do you do with the cars during the time that they aren't all blocked in? Are where they have to go?"
Well,
And
sir,
the other no, wait, I'm not done. And then I believe there was a time when they said, "Oh, we've hired a new manager for the place, and all these things are going to be resolved." So constantly we come back, and there's always this, "Well, we did this, but we didn't do that. We did this, we didn't do this." Now, even if the containers out there had been empty, they shouldn't have been sitting there. They should have been put into the dumpster. If they're full, then you're not properly disposing of the waste as need be. Even if you're going to say, "Oh, that was oil, that was antifreeze," that is not the proper way to dispose of hazardous waste. Other companies have companies that come and pump their oil out of their refineries or however they keep them, and the antifreeze and stuff like that. So either they're empty and they're in violation for not being in the dumpster, or they're full, in which they're a violation of not being properly disposed of. So which one of these violations do you want to own up to? There's only two.
well, I can be in violation of them being out there and empty. Out there and empty.
So
they were actually not mine. They were my body guys, and he left them. So
part of people working for you is you're responsible for their actions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's part of it's called agency law. If they work for you, you take responsibility for their actions.
Yes, sir.
So don't tell me he did this or he did that. Ultimately, your company, your business, your responsibility.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got, Anthony.
Okay, Mel. Joe? No. Mr. Curtis, so back to something that Ms. Hart-Burton mentioned, which was you not coming back to the board to amend some of the requirements. It would seem like, based on your understanding of your location and the lot, the theft, that you really needed to amend it at least for the parking in such a way that you could come into compliance on that point. So I'm trying to understand why, when the option was given for you to do the amendment, why you wouldn't. We don't own the space. We're not there every day. You know what you're dealing with. The opportunity came up where you could amend it and could have done so with the explanation that you're giving now. Why didn't you do that?
Because I was under the impression that you guys were just basically telling me I can only have 3 or 4 cars. So basically, when the car got stole off my lot, it was a customer car that got dropped off for a theft. It was a Kia, and so basically, I came up with a way to try to box the cars in so people can't just walk up to them or bust the window out and just go in them or sleep in them or whatever. So I just came up with a way to box them in on both ends of my lot, so they can't be stolen.
Wait a minute.
Right, but you understand that then puts you in violation of.
Right. So basically, I should have just amended it when I was given the chance to amend it last time.
Also, well, why not consider club wheel, not wheel lots, but actual wheel covers that would immobilize the vehicles, something so that they could not be driven away.
Half the time I'm not the owner of them. So basically they're just sitting for maybe a day. They might just be sitting there for a day till I get it in, till I get finished with another customer car to actually get their vehicle in. A lot of cars that I sell, they sell really fast. So if you ride past here and you see 3 cars on my front there, they got sold within the last 3-4 days. I'm replacing them with three more cars because it's like I'm limited to what I do, so I have to kind of keep the ball rolling.
So I understand that. That's and that's why I'm asking you about something like the club, something that you can put on the car to immobilize it quickly, but can be removed very quickly as well for when the car sells or when someone is test driving or whatever that case may be.
They got devices nowadays, sir. They can get in your car in 30 seconds, no matter what you do.
I'm well aware of it. I'm asking, have you considered any of these and why not?
I haven't considered. I've thought about it. I mean, put tracking devices on it, but it's really nothing much really I can do for real, because you gotta look at it as like I'm just a small car lot. You got big car lots getting 10 and 20 cars stolen at a time off their car lot. And what's the suggestion that they coming up with? So I have to go with the suggestions and go with what's best on trying to actually get make sure the cars are secured without spending all my money on someone else's vehicle.
I get that. I guess what I'm saying is, you can you can get something like a wheel. One, given the amount of cars that you have, a wheel immobilizer,
right.
And perhaps a steering wheel immobilizer, a combination of both of those, make it
Make it
so and neither are expensive given the number of cars that you have. Those that can be driven, it seems that it would behoove you to do something like that rather than rather than a revocation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other board members have any questions? All right. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of the appellant? All right. Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to the appellant? Okay, hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, copy of the emails that started the revocation, basis for revocation, report by Acting Zoning Inspector Terrell Eland, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, copy of original Board of Adjustment file, copy of investigation report by Terrell Eland, Acting Zoning Inspector dated 11/1/23, copy of the proceedings from 11/1/23, meeting notice letter from March 20th, 2024, City Journal public notices for March 20th, 2024, photographs from March 20th, 2024, Sanborn maps from March 20th, 2024, pictures submitted by Alderwoman Pamela Boyd, letter in support of the revocation from Alderwoman Pamela Boyd, photographs submitted by Alderwoman Boyd, copy of investigation report by Terrell Eland, Acting Zoning Inspector dated March 20th, 2024, copy of proceedings from March 20th, 2024, meeting notice letters from July 24th, 2024, City Journal public notices for July 24th, 2024, photographs from July 24th, 2024, Sanborn maps from July 24th, 2024, photographs emailed on July 13th, 2024 from Alderwoman Pam Boyd, 3 photographs emailed on April 15th, 2024 from Alderwoman Pam Boyd, copy of investigation report by Evan Winkler, Acting Zoning Inspector dated July 24th, 2024. Copy of proceedings from July 24th, 2024. Meeting notice letters for April 9th, 2025. City Journal public notices for April 9th, 2025. Photographs for April 9th, 2025. Sanborn maps for April 9th, 2025. Copy of investigation report by Evan Winkler, Acting Zoning Inspector, dated March 3rd, 2025. Copy of investigation report by Evan Winkler, Acting Zoning Inspector, dated April 9th, 2025. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. And that then concludes our testimony portion. Uh, Thank you, Ms. Kearns, for your service.
Well, you need a transcript of this.
We'll let you know, Julie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board members, 5-minute recess or so, shall we continue?
5 minutes wouldn't be bad.
Sounds good. We are in recess for 5 minutes.
Oh.
Okay. Let's start with appeal number 11923, 3454 South Grand Boulevard.
It's a cell tower.
Yes.
I don't know if we have any options here. I don't think we can turn them down.
No.
Come down with the full force of the federal government on us. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second you.
All right. Moved by Joe, seconded by George. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All of those opposed?
Irene, can you unmute *6?
Try again, Evan.
Irene, can you hit *6? We can't hear your vote. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Your vote is?
And your vote?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Will not be a detriment.
Okay.
All right. Motion passes. Okay. Appeal number 11924, 4200 Shoto.
I think he should go back and build this particular house out of proper materials.
What bothers me about that, George, is that Abdullah approved it. And he's like the gatekeeper for this area, isn't he?
He is. As did Bob.
Mary, you're muted.
Bob signed off on it as well. So, and I can tell you that I live in a stucco house, and stucco, yeah, so stucco could be many things. And the reality is you could have boards that are stucco boards, which I think
get a key made for you and make you a key out so you can say, give me mine back.
Irene, you're not muted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But Anthony, that concern of yours is if they don't do it right.
Well, yes. I mean, I personally don't have an issue with stucco, because I know the Preservation Board has approved it previously when it wasn't when it wasn't part of the code, or part of the materials that were approved. So yeah, I don't really know how we police that, other than the fact that Bob has signed off on it as Abdul. So I wouldn't want to send this guy.
It's truly an expensive material to use.
It is.
I mean, it goes in at like $17 or higher per square foot, and brick is only 22 to 25.
Exactly.
So it's
yeah,
I don't know why we would left it off the materials list,
Don't
but
understand,
they did.
but yeah. But yeah, I don't think it should go back for that. It's been approved many times before, and you've got the neighborhood association and Bob Bettis of CRO.
Only one I have a trouble with is the parapet and the cap or the delineation on the top of the building. All that takes is a 1x10 go underneath the cap, and now you've got a delineation on the cornice. And
Yeah,
I'm
that was-
afraid that it doesn't show where the mechanical is. I'm almost positive they'll put the condensers on the roof, and a 1-foot parapet's not going to conceal that at all.
Yeah, that's one of my concerns as well. I'm like a 1 foot parapet. I'm trying to think. I'm like, no, yeah, where there is a parapet wall, I think, you know, more than that, but I'm not sure. I guess we could potentially add that stipulation.
Well, my feeling is that even though the stucco is not a material that is listed in the code, I don't have any trouble with it. I just wanted to bring it up that it wasn't not anything there, that I'm surprised that the two gatekeepers of the neighborhood allowed it because it's a material that's not allowed.
Sure.
And so that's fine, but I do think that they should do something to the parapet. It should be raised, and I think it should have a little delineation to it because that is specified. And I'm getting tired of every residential building being over there getting turned down because they didn't do a 12-foot ceiling on the first floor. That's just unbelievable to me.
So you understand why that's happening, don't you? There are districts in that form-based code that when the code was originally written, they did not propose residential there. The market has changed now, and so the appropriate thing would be for that group to update their form-based code.
Right. I don't think we've approved one residential building that had a 12-foot ceiling in this area. All of them request lower ceiling. This one's nice because they're doing 10-foot instead of 9. So, but those are the two things that I'd ask for, something kind of a cornice on the parapet and a parapet raised.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
You wanna
Can I do that without them
define
splitting?
No,
height
if you're
of-
asking for any amendment to the drawings, you're going to have to table this. You're going to have to say what you want them to put on the drawings, and they'll have to come back. There's no way for you to do this without it coming back to the board if you want them to amend the drawings.
Really? So Mary, we could not specify in our motion exactly what they can build.
No, because you're making your motion based on a staff review. We can't review a set of plans that we don't actually have in the office yet. So if you want revised plans, it has to have another review by the staff.
And that would push it back to when we get back on the agenda.
Whenever we could get it back on an agenda. And we're
Right.
pretty far out. Yeah. I'm not saying not to do that. The decision is yours. It's just that I know, Mr. Quilting, particularly, you always look for a way to condition your approval without bringing it back to the board. And you can't really do that.
And I would also caution
Understand.
conditioning something that is still a violation of the code. Like creating a condition that's still in violation of what the law says.
I was trying to make it like the law. Give
That
it a
it's
2.5-foot parapet and a decoration on the top.
okay. So you're trying to make it comply.
Right. Those were the things that I was looking for, was just those two items.
Yeah, it
to
was
comply to the code.
right.
But
So
I understand you have to review it with the drawings showing that.
yeah, so I couldn't really assess from the drawings. This is a modern building, modern house. Yes, could you determine that, Joe?
I would say that the appearance is, yes, a modern appearance.
Oh, and if that were the case, I don't know. I'm sitting here looking at my guest house now, and I'm like, there's really no delineation other than a couple of score lines in the ephes that sort of delineate the parapet from where the joists sit. But beyond that, it's a flat plane. Um, and so with it being a modern building, I don't know that it necessarily need to have any serious delineation of the parapet. Um, what I couldn't quite see with the drawings, which I know my ephes guy says that, you've got to you've you you either have to do score lines or joints at floor lines or roof lines, because that's where the building tends to move and it would crack if you don't. And so I do, and I think if you do that, you will get some delineation, but as far as thinking about something from a more traditional building, I don't think if this is a modern building that's really what we should be doing either. I think really, given that it's just it's raising the parapet. But I wouldn't want to send them back just to raise the parapet, another foot or whatever. That's my thoughts.
Make a motion.
Uh, I move that that we approve the project as submitted, with the recommendation that the owner increase the height of the parapet.
So if it's just a recommendation, it has no teeth. I want to make sure you understand.
I absolutely understand.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Moved by me, seconded by Joe. All of those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All of those opposed?
Irene, we need you to vote.
And you're muted.
Irene.
Okay.
Okay, Irene, we need your vote.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
with you guys.
Okay. Motion passes. Meetings will not be a detriment.
Okay.
Okay. Appeal number 11925 4403 Hunt Avenue. So this one, I think, I think there's an opportunity for this building to be, this house to be wider, without having to deal with any fire rated walls. So it could increase from 17 to 19 feet. I've done that myself on a number of projects, where we go to a 3-foot setback on each side. But I understand now that the appellant would have to come back before the board should we add that. So I'm open.
You gonna make a motion, Anthony?
Nope.
I'll make the same motion that was made on the other one. Recommend that the parapet goes up to 2'6", and that's it.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Moved by Joe, seconded by me. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed? Motion carries. Findings, Joe?
Won't be a detriment.
Okay. Okay. Finally, appeal number 20470. The revocation.
Sounds like we have a successful business here in too small property. I have a real problem with parking anything on the street. I have a real problem with parking the flatbed on the sidewalk. I have a real problem that's been around since, what, April 23 or whatever it is?
Yeah.
November of 23 was the first time he was at the Board of Adjustment for the revocation hearing.
I just don't know how he can do it on the lot he's got. If he's got that much business, there's no room to tow trucks to put anything. There's too many cars on the lot. And he's selling cars off the lot too. He's just got to modify his business somehow if he's going to stay on that lot.
I agree. I mean, you know, I know what things look like as far as parking on the, parking just your regular vehicles, not the vehicles that are coming in, but but say it's tow truck or whatever on the street, with the way people are driving, I see it going down West Florissant, down Page, where cars are smashed because people are not paying attention and running into cars, and even over in my parents' neighborhood. And so people are parking on the sidewalks to avoid their cars being run into, which it's crazy, but I personally rather do that than have to deal with someone tearing my car up and then they take off, and now I take the hit with my insurance, and then my insurance goes up, and I mean, this becomes a detriment to me. That's probably the only point that I see. Everything else I think it needs to be addressed, and I agree with you, Joe. I think the lot's too small. So he's either got to scale down the business or find a larger space. I think we give them 30 days to comply.
No.
No. To me, no.
So Archer, even though the board has already continued this past the number of times in their own rules, it says they will continue it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to continue more than twice for each side. We've done 3 for the defendant at this point. The last, because they had just hired a new manager, you all had decided to make a special exemption.
Gotcha.
So that's what my notes.
Every time we turn around, there's always a shell game going on here. Oh, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't their fault. I didn't know. I got a new manager. This has been going on for since 2023. Okay, it's not like, oh, it's just like, no. This has been going on for over a year and a half. So it's like the things that were sitting outside the lot, the containers. Oh, those were somebody else's. Doesn't make any difference. It doesn't take, you look around, you go, when they first got there, they said, oh, well, there's two dumpsters from 2 different companies. We just got this dumpster here, and we're waiting for the other company to pick it up. And they go, oh, we just now got a dumpster. But no, that's not what the testimony was a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, you said you got your dumpster, you're waiting for the other dumpster to be picked up. And then you come back and you say, well, we got to block my cars in. Well, there's other companies that just put up ballards and they put up those chains and they put up everything else. And you say, well, you don't want people breaking in your cars. Well, just because you park your cars in front of everybody doesn't mean somebody can't go up there and break into your car. I don't want to put anybody out of business, but I'm tired of it coming back and constantly, not my fault.
I agree with that as well, Bill.
And the people in the neighborhood that live there, they deserve better than to have this car lot full of cars parked every place. If I lived, a block on that block, I'd be upset just having to sit there. I wouldn't put up with it.
Been a year and a half and they have not complied totally on all of the conditions.
Every
I know
time
one of the conditions were brought up each 3 times and they were never resolved. So I'm with Mel.
I'm also with Mel.
So I would say I uphold the revocation.
Is that a motion, Mel?
Yes.
I'll second.
Moved by Mel, seconded by Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All of those opposed? Motion carries. Meeting minutes, Arlene.
To accept the minutes of April 2nd, 2025, and the proceeding for appeal number 11880 from March 26, 2025.
I'll second it.
All right, moved by Irene, seconded by George. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All of those opposed? Meeting minutes approved.
Do we have a meeting next week?
Okay, what happened with appeal number 11926?
They didn't show up.
119.
Oh, that's it. Okay, because I was.
That was, we did that.
We have to reschedule that, Miss Sewell.
Reschedule him, okay.
Yeah, it was not posted correctly, and also
Oh,
the drawings also needed some additions to it. So we'll be
mhm.
at a later meeting.
Okay. Okie dokie.
Any new business, Mary?
I have nothing new for you. We do have a meeting next week, so we'll
Okay.
see everybody then.
Okay.
Mhm.
I've got it.
Okay.
I've got it
Okay.
around.
Can you get settled?
Everybody
Can you give me a
enjoy.
call?
Thank
Okay,
Can you
you.
get settled?
We need the motion to.
So,
Oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Moved by, who was that, George or Joe?
Me.
Joe.
Moved by Joe, seconded by Mel. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Thanks,
You
everyone.
guys.
Thank
Evan,
you.
give me a
Okay.
Have a
call
good
when you get
evening.
settled in,
Bye-bye.
okay?
I know.